Hello everyone, welcome to our 6th math course. Today we're going to talk about trigonometry. First of all, it's very important to know that trigonometry only happens when you have a right-angled triangle. That is, a 90-degree triangle. So, when we have a right-angled triangle, we have 3 sides. The longest side, we call this the hypotenuse. Later on in the video, we'll only write the first 4 letters, HYPO, so that it's easier. And the rest 2 sides are either opposite or adjacent side. Exactly which side is which depends on the angle that we're talking about. So for example, if I'm talking about this angle, angle theta, then this side will be the opposite side because it's opposite to the angle theta, and this side will be the adjacent side. However, if we look at this angle, angle alpha, then in this case, this side will become the opposite, and what was opposite will become adjacent. For this slide, we need to remember what sine, cosine, and tangent means. However, if you look at the colors that I've made, this is personally a trick for me to remember which one is which. So you can see, for the sine and tangent, both of them has opposite side as the uppercase. And for sine and cosine, both of them has hypotenuse as lowercase, and the rest is just adjacent. So I simply remember sine, cosine has hypotenuse as the lowercase, sine tangent has the opposite as the uppercase, and the rest is adjacent side. Let's look at an example. So here we see that the angle is 30 degrees. We've got the opposite side, and the adjacent side is x. Let's go back to the trigonometry. We have an opposite and we have an adjacent. So in this case, we know that we need to use tangent because this is the only one that has both opposite and adjacent. Okay, so we have tangent, 30 degrees. We always write the angles after the tangent sign, equals opposite over adjacent, which is 5 over x. We need to make x the subject of this equation, so we move x to the left, and the equation becomes 5 over tangent 30 degrees. Now we just take out our calculator, press on the calculator 5 over tangent 30. We'll get something like 8.66025438. I'm just going to keep it 8.66. I know that x equals 8.66. Let's look at another example. In this case, I know that the hypotenuse is 13 and the adjacent is 12. So hypotenuse and adjacent. So we know that in this case, we are looking for cosine. The sine, angle theta, because we don't know what this angle is, equals adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 12 over 13. In order to calculate it, we use cosine to the power of -1. So angle theta equals cosine to the power of -1, 12 over 13. Here is a picture of a calculator, so you can see where to press. So you can see that here we have hypotenuse. So here you can see that we have the sine, cosine, and tangent. And right above those little places, you see a sine -1, a cosine -1, and a tangent -1. So when I say that tangent theta equals x, theta equals tangent -1x, I simply press tangent -1. So I press this shift here, because this shift allows me to get to this brown case of the letter, and this alpha allows me to get to that orange number. So this is just a way how to use a calculator. I press shift and then I press this tangent button, and in this case on the screen it will show tangent -1, and we just type in whatever value for x is. In this case, I'm just gonna write a random value, and it will get the degree of the angle. And this is how we use tangent, cosine, or sine to the power of -1 to get the angles when we know the 2 sides of a right-angled triangle. So using the knowledge we've just acquired, let's look at another example. So here we know the angle, we know the hypotenuse, and we want to know the opposite side. Hypotenuse and opposite side. So now we're gonna use sine. Sine 29 degrees equals x over 15. X equals sine 29 times 15. We press on the calculator and we get a number 7.27. This is the answer. And now let's look at two new concepts, angle of elevation and angle of depression. In this case, two lines matters. The first line is the line of horizon, and the second line is the line of sight. So let's look at the angle of elevation. Elevation means that we are looking up. So you can see that this is my eye, and I'm looking up. So this is my line of sight, and this is the horizon. So the angle, this angle, angle theta, is my angle of elevation. And for the angle of depression, it means that I'm looking downwards, I'm looking below the horizon. So it's still the angle formed between the line of horizon and the line of sight, but it's simply downwards. And using the knowledge, we're going to look at a word problem using the angle of depression. So you can see here that we don't have a graph. So using the knowledge, we'll have to make a graph ourselves. From the top of a cliff, 72 meters high. So I can already draw a cliff, and this is 72 meters high. We can see it says from the top of the cliff. So we're looking at this point. From the top of the cliff, the angle of depression, so if it's from the top of the cliff, I'm just going to draw a line here. This will be the line of horizon, and the angle of depression is just going to go downwards. This is 12 degrees, 12.47 degrees. This is my boat. And I'm just going to form a right angle triangle here. It says, how far is the boat from the base of the cliff? So it wants me to know this side. Okay, so we have this angle. What we want is the opposite side. What we have is the adjacent side. So we have opposite, we have adjacent. What we need, think about it, yes, is tangent. So tangent 12.47 equals opposite over adjacent. So it's x over 72. Using your calculator, you can find out that x equal to tangent 12 degrees, 12.47 degrees times 72. I'm not going to do it, but I think you already know how to do it. So yeah, it's actually pretty easy for trigonometry as long as you remember the value for sine, cosine, and tangent, and the rest you can just work your way through the questions. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot from this video. And here's a math joke for you. Just relax a bit. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment below. And please don't forget to check out my new website, mathforyou.site. The link is included below in my description box. You'll find accompanying exercises there, which helps a lot when you're studying for a test or such. And enjoy your day. Bye!